Hey, welcome to Creatively Random. My name's Padre,
My name's Michael.
and I'm sick today, so I apologize for my voice, but the show must go on. Today we're talking about ROTOBRUSH. We're doing a new game, Gear or Gimmick.
Very fun.
Name pending. We're talking about the Rode Wireless Pro, and it's also about to be, well, it is currently Techtember, is what they say. But it's the year, it's a time of the year where all the gear comes out, all the new techie things ready for Christmas. So we're going to talk about what we're hoping to see out of Techtember and Techtober.
Very exciting stuff.
Indeed. Let's get right into it. ROTOBRUSH 3.
Yeah.
So you've had more experience with it than I have, and you've watched a few videos on it. I've done a little bit. I've used ROTOBRUSH before, versions 1 and versions 2, but I haven't really used 3 yet. A colleague of mine was showing me the other day, but I haven't used it myself.
Yeah, I can't say I've used the latest, but like you said, watched some stuff on it. ROTOBRUSH, for those that don't know, is Adobe's tool within some of their softwares, specifically After Effects, maybe in others.
I think it's just in After Effects.
Yeah, so it's essentially a tool for rotoscoping, which is the process of cutting out objects or things in a frame, or in a video, frame by frame. So in Adobe's ROTOBRUSH tool, you can sort of select your object or your character or whatever it is that you want to cut out, and it will roughly generate it as best it can and do the rest of the video clip. Yeah. If you've got a longer clip than, say, 1 frame.
Most of the time
most
you
do. And then with that, you can drag it and drop it wherever you want, or you can composite it into a different scene.
Yeah.
The new version of ROTOBRUSH, so ROTOBRUSH 3, is using AI. I think the previous one used it a little bit, but it wasn't as beefy as this current one.
Yeah, sure.
And in one of the video examples that I saw, it's like incredibly good at tracking what you've actually selected. Previously, I struggled with this. I don't know about you, but whenever something was the same contrast ratio or the same sort of shade or color or tone, the ROTOBRUSH tool would sort of pick it up and then track onto that, and then you would just have this random blotchy thing along with your subject.
Yeah, I think my experience with ROTOBRUSH 1 was that most of the time it ended up being quicker for me to just mask it by hand individually, like with the pen tool. But then ROTOBRUSH 2 was a lot better, like way better, but still had problems tracking. So like it would usually get a pretty good first frame, like understand what I'm trying to look at, but then as soon as it started to move, especially shots with like motion blur in them, it just smear, all the smear just was
hopeless.
Gone. So from what I saw, my colleague made a video the other day. He was sitting at a table, the subject was sitting at a table just talking like this. So it's not a lot of movement, but it did that like basically flawlessly. Basically flawlessly.
You got
Sorry
there.
about
You got
those
there.
words. I got a head fog, so yeah, bear with me. But yeah, basically flawlessly of just a sitting down person at a table. So it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I did see the video. It was very good. And if that was it, pretty much the first pass, that's great.
Yeah, and there's still like tweaking. I mean, they don't use most of the time. So they use rotoscoping a lot in like big feature films, but they have rotoscope artists who would go in there and basically do it hand by hand, like frame by frame with their hand. They probably would be using tools like ROTOBRUSH to help them speed up the process, but then they'd be going back and like manually adjusting it all individually because it has to be so specific and well done. Because like most of the time when they shoot something on a green screen, like you see all the behind the scenes footage of like the Thor movies or the Avengers or whatever, they are then still rotoscoping all of those characters out as well. So I'm not sure why they even shoot on a green screen, just to help with the contrast maybe, but they're still cutting them all out. Like they're never just doing a key and then...
It's easier on a green screen or a blue screen, but it's also not like a instant sort of fix.
Yeah.
You still have to do a lot of legwork, and we ran into this I'm sure you have experience, but there was a project where we filmed a couple of guys on a white cyc like this one.
Yeah.
And the clients were under the impression that they were going to be filmed in a summer backyard setting. So late one night, the other editor and I on it had to rotoscope this whole section of the video and pretty much cut them out of a white cyc, which is not what you would
I mean,
do this on. This is like the worst way to do it.
The lighting would not have matched, right?
It was not. Like it was lit for colored backgrounds as well. So I think, one was like a blue, one was a pink. But essentially we had to, I started at the end. I grabbed the back half of the clip. He grabbed the front half of the clip, and we just had to rotoscope for like hours into the night. Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's a nightmare. But I'm glad it's all advancing. And I'm glad we're using AI in a way that's useful. Because if we can speed up that process, that's awesome. I think I've seen it used a lot in even our phones, even like the phone apps do it. Like I know CapCut has a feature where you can do like a cutout of people, kind of like a ROTOBRUSH. It's not perfect. And then even Instagram has like a green screen effect, I think, where it can detect like the foreground subject and remove the background. Like it's definitely not perfect. It has like, it's always like interlacing with the background and stuff. But you see it all the time where people are like talking over the top of like an article and the photo of the articles behind them. So, I mean, we couldn't used to do that 5-10 years ago.
No, and it's just in your hand. And you're probably not doing much work. You're probably just tapping the setting and it'll do the rest. Yeah,
well, it's like nothing. I think you just turn green screen on and then just record.
Yeah. Super easy these days.
TikTok does it. Our producer's saying TikTok does it.
Yes.
There you go. On your phone.
Oh, she's talking about on Apple.
But not out of a video. Oh, you can actually. In the newest update, you can do it out of a video. Yeah. Wow.
On iPhones, you can do that.
You don't have a mic today, Teddy.
Yeah. She thinks she's involved, but not today.
Okay. All right. So if you want to find ROTOBRUSH 3, you can't find it in After Effects yet. It's still in beta, right? So where do you find it?
So in your Creative Cloud, if you have the Creative Cloud, I'm pretty sure you have to have it to have any of the Adobe apps these days, but the Creative Cloud desktop app, go to your, is it beta apps on the side tab, I believe it's called?
Yeah.
And you should see all the various beta versions of the Adobe apps. After Effects beta is the one you want. And whatever the latest version is of that is where you can test it and try it out for, it's for free if you've got the subscription. So,
what are you laughing at?
What are you laughing at, me?
Are you laughing at us?
Don't change the color.
How did you get that?
Yeah, where did that come from? Yeah, but you're going to change it to a sickly color.
Okay, moving into our next segment is Gear or Gimmick. Roll that intro, producer. No, just kidding. We didn't organize any intro, so
maybe we make one before this goes out. We'll see.
We'll see what happens. So this is a game. I'll read exactly what I've written. This is a game where Padre, me, proposes items to Michael, you, and he has to guess which are real items or which are gimmicks. So what I've done is basically I looked up the craziest products I could find that were either real products or Kickstarters.
Okay.
Or like Indiegogos or whatever. So like maybe they don't exist yet, but someone thinks the ones that I've chosen have been funded in some way.
Okay.
So a certain amount of people have put money into it to say, yes, I want this product.
Okay.
So I'm going to read the name of the product and then a product description. And I use I used ChatGPT to help me a little bit with the product descriptions.
Okay.
But both of them are like in the same kind of formatting. So you shouldn't be able to tell, like, hopefully, like my writing. I tried to use ChatGPT, so it wasn't my writing that gave it away.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like, I want you to actually think about it.
Yeah.
And then talk it out. Just tell me what you think.
Okay.
All right.
So how many are there?
There's three rounds.
Okay.
Each has two products.
Okay, sure.
One's real, one's not.
Yeah.
Okay, so the round one is the dog's play versus the paw snorkel. So these are two products.
Yeah.
The dog's play. Introducing Dog's Play, the first TV, music, and two-way video call device for dogs. Keep your four-legged children entertained with premium content catered for their eyes and ears, and check in on how they're doing whenever, wherever. Time passes 6 times faster for dogs compared to humans, so it's important that our pups enjoy life to the fullest. Funnily enough, downtime for them can include watching their favorite Netflix or YouTube videos. Dog's Play is here to bring that vision to life. Okay? Product one.
And it's Dog's Play.
Dog's Play.
But all one word or whatever.
Yeah, okay. I assume it's Dog's Play, not Dog's Splay.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's something else.
Okay, introducing Paw Snorkel, The ultimate innovation in pet-friendly aquatic adventure. Paw Snorkel is not just a product, it's a passport to a world of watery fun for your furry friend. Designed with the utmost care and precision, the Paw Snorkel is a game changer for pet owners and their beloved companions. Get ready to embark on a new aquatic journey with your pet and create unforgettable memories. With the Paw Snorkel, the world below the surface is yours to explore together. Dive into the fun and make a splash with your four-legged friend like never before. There are 2 products. The Dog's Play
Paw
or
Snorkel.
the Paw Snorkel.
Okay, right off the bat, Paw Snorkel sounds dumb.
Does
But-
Dog's Play not sound dumb?
I mean, it does, but just think about how dogs swim always. It's like their head is above the water because they need to breathe. I don't think they have any concept of closing their mouth and breathing through a snorkel. But my
True, that's
problem is it sounds so dumb that it could be real.
Well, that's
and
the aim of the game.
someone could be wanting to make this. Dog's Play is a very interesting concept, but also probably not that ridiculous compared to the Paw Snorkel, in my opinion.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to say Dog's Play is real and Paw Snorkel is fake.
Okay.
Although, like I said, Paw Snorkel sounds like that could be a tangible thing happening.
Okay. I've got to work on my poker face, I think. But you're correct.
Oh, thank
Dog's
goodness.
Play is a real product on Kickstarter. It has been funded $31,000.
Holy moly.
It is essentially a TV on the floor, like a little A-frame TV
Yeah.
that has a camera in it. And then the dogs, you can like put Netflix on for your dog. And not only is it just like a TV, like a normal TV, they've like changed the colors so that it works
Dogs.
better for dogs' color eyes. And they've
course.
adjusted the sound so it's more sensitive to dogs' ears. And they've adjusted the frame rate so it's like more jittery because apparently
The way their
dogs see like that.
Yeah, right. Our producer is crying and she probably funded.
Yeah,
the product.
you backed this, didn't you? Here's the like even crazier part about it is that they have a subscription service that you can purchase alongside Dog's Play called Dogflix. And it's $9 to $10 per month of specifically curated content for dogs.
But did you not just say it's Netflix?
They
Like,
have
is it-
Netflix installed, but
but
this
it's
is a
different
separate
app?
thing that they make. And then it says on the Kickstarter, it says designed for their enjoyment, Dogflix it includes relax and chill shows, adventures, eating shows, and cartoons. Wow.
Alrighty.
Yeah, so Dogflix.
Yeah, wow. Okay. Our producer has asked to get that for our dog.
So yeah, that is a real product.
It's funded though, so it doesn't exist yet, or like it's in the process?
Believe anyone listening, if you want to go and pledge $499, I assume that's US. Yeah, 772 Australian dollars. You can get 1 times launch day special of a Dog's Play
Launch special.
with
Why are
free
you nodding?
3-month subscription to Dog's Flix. Estimated
We
deliver is
keep our
November
company.
2023, so there's still time. There's 16 of 50 left. Oh my gosh. They had 50 and they're almost sold out.
Of the starter. So that means people have bought the higher tier ones as well?
No. they're all still left.
Oh, okay.
I can think only those people have bought it. So like 40 people have bought it.
$31,000.
$31,000.
Did you say?
How does
Times
that make sense?
50?
Their goal was $7,000. They wanted to make like 6 of them or something. Anyway, moving on.
Dream big.
Moving on to round 2. 2 products again.
Cool.
These are in the utensil space.
Okay.
Okay. The first product is called the Dine Ink. It says, turn your favorite office tool from your desk into a common cutlery. This is Dine Ink. A set of pen caps, including a fork cap, a knife cap, and a spoon cap that replaces the normal pen cap during lunchtime. All caps are made by annually renewable resources like natural starch and fibers to be 100% biodegradable and atoxic, warranting the best alimentary use. To be fair, I didn't read I didn't really read through ChatGPT or the normal ones, so this is not giving any clues away. Dispensing each set in compostable packaging, the whole set is designed to respect the environment. Now you can give your office ballpoint pen a good excuse to be gnawed on by your teeth. Use them for dining. Okay, that's product number 1.
Okay.
Dining.
Okay.
Product number 2, the Warm Scoop. Introducing the Warm Scoop, your trusted companion for those chilly morning moments when your utensils are as cold as the weather. No more shivers or hesitation when you reach for the first spoonful of your favorite breakfast. The Warm Scoop is here to add warmth and comfort to your morning routine. Make every breakfast heartwarming experience with the Warm Scoop. Say goodbye to the chills and hello to the cozy delight of warm utensils. The Warm Scoop, where warmth meets your spoon.
To confirm, that last one is
Would you
just
like-
a spoon.
Yeah, do you have any questions? Do you have any questions about the products themselves? I can answer any questions.
So, recapping what the
I can
Warm
clarify
Scoop
them
is.
both, yeah.
Is it just a warm spoon?
It's like a rechargeable heated spoon.
Okay. And then the pen caps is something you add onto any ballpoint pen.
Yeah, so imagine you're like at your desk and then
Yeah.
it's lunchtime, and I know you have to get up and heat up your lunch in the fridge or get it out of the fridge or heat up in the microwave anyway. But instead of getting a fork from the kitchen like a normal person, you might come back to your desk, take off your pen lid and put on your fork attachment, which is like a pen cap that has a fork on the other end of it.
Yeah.
And then you can eat your lunch with your pen.
Okay. That's smart, but I think that's dumb.
So that's,
I think
well, you got to get up. You got to get up and go to the kitchen.
you're in the
anyway.
kitchen.
Why didn't you keep it in the fridge?
Oh, this is very specific because she does normally have a salad at work.
But do you keep it in the fridge? You just keep it in your bag.
Yeah, they don't have a fridge
okay.
there. Anyway,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'm going to go with
You still have to wash it though. That's the thing. So if you're gonna take a fork to work, but you can just wipe a fork. That's why I'm saying, like, anything you have to do with the dining, you have to do with a normal fork anyway. I can criticize the other one as well, so I'm not trying to defend mine or I'm just
now I'm torn. I think the point is if it's like 0 degrees and your utensils are metal,
yeah.
it would be frozen or like very cold to hold, which would almost be to the point of burning your hands.
Yeah, so
it
it's like
being
to make
warm,
it more comfortable. So it doesn't heat the
it's
actual
not
spoon
boiling.
itself; it heats the handle.
Yeah, it's like
So like you can comfortably
room
eat whatever
temperature.
you're eating.
I don't understand why though that's only a spoon and not all utensils.
Other things. Well, yeah, I think that's a good point. I think it's usually because it's like breakfast. It's like the first thing in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Start with one product and expand.
Don't go too deep at the beginning.
So Warm Scoop and Dine Ink.
Dining.
They're both so silly. I'm going to say the Warm Spoon or Warm Scoop is real.
Yes, I got him.
I'm wrong.
I got him. The Warm Scoop is not real, but it's an invention idea I've had for a very long time.
Oh, there you go.
I always thought that's a big problem. Well, not a big problem. Like,
Yeah,
there's
go
bigger
on.
problems in the world, but like, I feel like, it's just not very comfortable when you're trying to eat cereal and your spoon's freezing. But Abby pointed out to me the other day that the spoon warms up very quickly once it's in your hand. So just to get over it. So, but I chuck that one in there.
Okay,
But
you got me.
Tessie,
Yeah,
you
okay.
can. I know what to get you for Christmas now.
Yeah.
A Dine Ink.
There you go, please.
There you go.
Is that
How good
can
is-
that be found on Amazon or is that crowdfunded as well?
Yeah, I think that's an actual product that exists. So you could just buy that off the shelf,
There you go.
maybe.
Somewhere in the world.
Okay, round 3,
Yep.
final round. 2 products. This is in the perfume category.
Oh, wow.
Product number 1, Skunk Defunk. Unleash your inner allure and captivate the senses with Skunk Defunk perfume, a fragrance that defies convention and embraces the unconventional. Embodying the essence of uniqueness and individuality, Skunk Defunk perfume is the scent for those who dare to stand out and make a statement. Indulge in the extraordinary and make a statement with Skunk Defunk. Skunk Defunk. It's perfume. It's like a tongue twister.
Yeah, wow.
Whether you're stepping into the spotlight or simply seeking to leave a lasting impression, this unique and captivating fragrance is your perfect companion. Unleash the funk and be unforgettable. Product number 1. Product number 2. Ode to Space. Decades. Oh, gosh. Decades ago, NASA designed a fragrance to train astronauts on how A to
space.
I've never done this much reading. Decades ago, NASA designed a fragrance to train astronauts on how outer space actually smells. Now we're releasing it to the world. Your very own Ode to Space. The smell of space in a 100 ml custom bottle with atomizer.
Is that it? Is that all that one's got?
That's all that one's got.
Okay, question.
Yes.
Skunk to funk. Is it supposed to be
Skunk to funk.
Okay. Does it supposed to smell good or just harsh on the nose?
I can give you the top notes, the heart notes, and the base notes of this fragrance.
Okay, yep, go.
The top notes are a burst of zesty citrus and bright crisp bergamot that invigorates the senses, leaving a trail of freshness in your wake. As the scent unfolds, a bouquet of exotic florals, including sultry jasmine and hypnotic turbouse, weaves a tapestry of elegance and intrigue. And then the perfume base notes reveals a warm and sensual embrace of amber, vanilla, and a hint of musk.
Okay.
So it doesn't smell like skunk.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's a nice. Well, it's like it seemed. I mean, I don't know a lot of these scents, but they're quite strong.
Interesting combination to have citrus plus amber.
Well, that's the top notes. The top notes are usually like pretty like. Well, no, the
No,
top
the
notes are
initial
like
hit,
like
like
very first, and then they kind of fade pretty quickly. So it's like zesty at the start, kind of thing.
And Ode to Space or Ode to Space. Why would astronauts need to smell what outer space is when they don't take off their helmets in space?
That's a good question.
Obviously, in a space station or a spaceship, they might, or when oxygen is fed in, but
Maybe
no
it's just
one's
to give
smelling
them...
outer space because there is no.
I did hear this. Or maybe I'm just making this up. Or maybe I'm just making this up.
Yeah.
But maybe I think it was like when they come in from a spacewalk, they take their helmets off, and there's like a lingering scent from like space that they smelled. And apparently that's what they recreated with the Ode to Space.
It said it was training them. Is that right? Training them on the scent of outer space?
I agree with you. I don't know why they would need to know that. I don't.
Yeah, but depending on the price, and if it's just a gimmick.
Definitely a gimmick, but...
But is it a gimmick in this show or is it a gimmick
in real life?
But it's so dumb. I'm going to go with Skunk to Funk is real. No way.
Ode to Space is real.
No way.
Skunk to Funk was ChatGPT. And that's how good ChatGPT was. It gave me like top notes, heart notes,
I should have realized. I'm not the one to have a good sense.
It even gave me like key features.
Yeah.
So I asked for a product description. ChatGPT gave me key features of Skunk to Funk. One of them is a confidence booster. With its bold and distinctive aroma, Skunk to Funk perfume empowers you to express your individuality and confidence wherever you go.
But anyway, I was wrong. Twice.
2 out of 3.
Well, 1 out of 3 correct. 2 wrong.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Bummer. I guess I put my logic brain on and...
Okay, well, we'll play that again in the future, but you got to give me probably like 3 months to figure out 3 new products.
Yeah.
It's actually harder to make stuff up than you think because so much crap exists.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, moving into Techtember. Before we get to Techtember, I want to talk about the Rode Wireless Pro, which won't be applicable to everybody listening, but if there's any creators out there, any videographers, it's a kind of a game-changing microphone from Rode. I like Rode because they make good products, but also they're an Australian brand, which is always nice. And there's not a lot of them. It's actually like I'm really proud that Rode. This is a tangent, but I'm really proud that Rode and Blackmagic are both Australian brands.
Yeah,
and even Atomos was an Australian brand. It's kind of not really anymore, but and the dude was a bit dodgy. The CEO was a bit dodgy. But but yeah, I just quickly announce that the Rode Wireless Pros are out, and the reason why they're so exciting to me as a videographer and a content creator is that they have lots of new features, but one of the new features that they have is onboard 32-bit float recording.
That's ridiculous.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't understand or don't know what 32-bit is, it's essentially like, the easy way to explain it is it's shooting, it's like recording audio. It's like
It's like dynamic range for audio, essentially. Like in a way that you can, the way I know it is you shoot and get it roughly right, sounding right.
Yeah.
Shoot it to the best of your ability, and then if you need to increase it by 10 dB or decrease it by 10 dB, you can do that with no quality loss.
Yeah, so there's so much headroom on the channel that there is no way that audio will peak.
Yeah.
So like, and it's not always true because 32-bit recording is often based on the microphone as well. So like if you grab one and like jam something really, really loud into it, like that would damage your ears, it probably would peak or would just blow the microphone capsule before it peaked. But it is possible for it to peak. But essentially there's so much headroom that in normal use, there's no way that audio would peak. So you'd always have that data. So the reason why it's awesome is because if you're often the times you're using the Rode Wireless Go, you don't have a lot of control over like how loud the person's going to be or how close they're going to put it to their mouth. Or like I've used it quite a few times for the Wireless Go 2s, which I have now, for like Vox Pop interviews where you just like put it on a mic, handheld mic, and you give it to people and you know, how'd you like the show? And they're just like screaming into like, I love this show. And then you get the audio back and you're like, it's ruined. It's all ruined. I can't use that take. So that's not a problem with the Rode Wireless Pro.
And to confirm, this is those little square rectangle wireless mics that you've probably seen all over social media.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
A lot of people use them. It's cheap and affordable wireless microphones.
And to be fair, the Rode Wireless 2, the Rode Wireless Go 2, which is the current one that's out, that's not the Pro, is still a really good like set of mics if you wanted to get one. Because I think the new one's like 700, 800-ish Australian dollars. And it comes with like a little charging case for the transmitter and the two transmitters and the receiver. And it comes with another case, and it comes with like 2 lapel mics as well that you can plug into them to actually have on. So it comes with a lot of extra stuff. But if you're just like making videos on Instagram and you want better audio quality, either the Rode Wireless Go 2 or the DJI mic are really good options for people that want to just like have something that's quick and easy, plug into their phone and get like way better audio. You just like clip it onto your shirt. It's a really good system.
Yeah, and the fact that they're going 32-bit or allowing that in the latest, I feel like that's a game changer because 32-bit float is normally something you find on higher tier products that are closer to $1,000.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know how much these retail at, but I'm sure it's not going to be anywhere near that.
I think the name Pro is really interesting in this circumstance, and I wrote in here, is this actually for pros or is this for pros?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because the iPhone 15 Pro, it's like, okay, it just means it's the best one out of the lot. But like, you're not going to use, I know they say shot on iPhone and they film those commercials. It's like, oh, we use an iPhone with like a $15,000 cinema lens attached to the front of it. It's not a pro thing. Like you're not going to shoot Avatar 3 on an iPhone. No. So it's not pro in that sense, but it has pro features like that normies won't care about, but pros will.
Is there a Rode, what's it called? A Rode Wireless Pro? Sorry, without the Pro? Like, is there
that's the
or
Rode
are they just calling it
Go.
The Go and
2.
then the Go 2 and then the Pro?
And then, so they started with the Rode Wireless Go, which was 1 transmitter, 1 receiver.
Yep.
And then they had the Rode Wireless Go 2, which was 1 receiver, 2 transmitters.
Yeah.
And then they have the Rode Wireless Me, which is not sure how that's different to the original Wireless Go 1, but it's 1 transmitter, 1 receiver. Okay. It's meant to be more for like, I don't really want to deal with any settings. Let me just plug it into my phone and I want it to work. The Wireless Go 2 is like kind of a mid-range point between like I need 2 transmitters so I can have 2 people talking at the same time and a backup recording, and I want to be able to control the settings a bit more. And then the Wireless Pro is brand new, and it has 32-bit float. It has time code. It has like locking screw-in connectors for the lapel mics. So,
and it's 2.
And
again,
it's 2 transmitters and 1 receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like the professional standard of like a lapel pack would be like a Sennheiser pack, which they cost like $1,000 each per pack, and they're like they don't have onboard recording.
They don't do 32-bit.
Well, they have no onboard recording,
Yeah,
so like
yeah.
it's just whatever's transmitting to the receiver,
Yeah.
and then whatever that's plugged into, which on set would usually be like an F6 or a
Yeah.
you know, pre-mix 3, like a recorder, which has 32-bit float. But yeah, there's not really like another compatible version of this that exists that's like in between spending thousands of $1,000s on pro audio gear, or spending like hundreds of dollars on like things that work but don't have any redundancies. I think these hit the perfect sweet spot for like wedding filmmakers, because when you want to like capture a speech and you don't know whether the bride's going to get up and be like, "Oh, thanks for coming, everyone," and like super quiet, and then you can't even hear them at all. And then the dad is going to get up and he's 8 beers deep and he's screaming into the mic. This is not personal experience. I'm just saying.
Okay, good.
You know, he's like, you know, just yelling into the mic.
Yeah.
When you have that range of like, when environment's controlled, it doesn't really matter because you can just say, "Hey, let's do another take. You clipped, you went too loud," or, you know, "I'll just lower the headroom a bit." But when you don't have the capacity to do that in a live scenario, having the headroom and like the backup recording of 32-bit is like essential.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you just get like awful audio. And audio's 60% of video.
Yeah. No, that sounds great. Will you buy it? Will you upgrade?
Should I ask my wife? No. I think
Oh, it's too late for that.
I think I'm going to try and convince my boss to buy one for work.
Okay.
Because I think we do need one. But I don't think I personally need one. I think my Wireless Go 2s that I have currently are fine.
Yeah.
Because for what I use them for, I know the settings and I know how loud I should talk.
Yeah.
So like, as long as I'm not using them on other people that don't understand it, then it's okay.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, great food for thought. And yeah, definitely back that for wedding videographers and those sorts of environments, because yeah, one take wonders. That's all you got.
That's it. That's why I hate weddings. They're so stressful. I don't hate going to them. I don't hate...
He's coming to ours.
Yeah. I don't hate them existing. I don't like filming them. It's very stressful.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure in a very short amount of time because it's someone's special day, big day. So yeah, a lot of pressure can weigh on that.
Yeah, it's important to people, and you want to do it right. And if you don't do it right, it's hard to tell people.
Yeah. Hey, I wasn't recording the whole day.
Yeah. You know that wedding that you did once? Could you do it again? Because I lost all the footage. No refunds.
Yeah.
It happened to me. Have I told that story?
No.
So I recorded a friend of mine's wedding when I was very fresh, starting out in doing video.
Yeah.
I did it for free. I did it as their gift. Like, I'm not going to buy you a gift because I was poor at the time anyway. Well, not poor, but like I didn't have a lot of money. And I said, I can't buy you. I'm not going to buy you a gift, but I'll happily shoot your wedding for you. And I shot their engagement for them and they liked it. So I was like, okay, well, I'll do your wedding. It went really well. The day went well, like chaotic as heck because weddings are. I had one camera and it wasn't very good.
Just video? Shooting?
Yeah, just doing video. I wasn't doing photos, luckily. But one camera, and then I gave the groom a GoPro to like carry around with him for the morning before of, and I was like gonna kind of like mix in his footage and I was like, they're not paying for it, so they're gonna have to deal with whatever the quality is.
Yeah. What
happened is in the midst of I filmed the wedding, and then halfway through the process, the time of like editing when I should be editing the wedding, I moved from the Gold Coast to Sydney. And in that time, whatever happened to that hard drive, like someone like got it and punched it or something. I don't know what happened, but I plugged it back in Sydney and it was corrupted. And that was the only backup I had of their wedding footage, which is pro tip. Back up all your stuff, like everywhere, twice, everything, especially if it was a wedding. But yeah, it was gone. All their footage was gone. The only stuff I had left was like GoPro footage that was still on the SD card of the GoPro because I hadn't used it ever since then. And all of their footage from my normal camera was gone. So like their ceremony was gone. The speeches from the reception were gone, like all of it.
But they had photos and GoPro footage.
Someone else did the photos.
Okay.
Well, I've never done a wedding since then. And I think I would do I've done second shooting for weddings since then, but I've never done my own wedding where I've been in charge of everything. Not because I don't trust myself, but just because it's so stressful. I don't really want to have that stress.
Yeah. Props to everyone that does do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was that was that a hard drive and not a solid state drive?
Yeah, it was a hard drive. Yeah,
That
it was
would
like
be-
5 years ago, 6 years ago. So SSDs were around, but they were still
They
pretty
were
expensive.
very expensive, yeah.
And yeah, just backups.
Yeah,
Just
backups.
It was really rough, like calling the couple and telling them.
Are they still your friends?
Not really.
Because of that, you think? Or
I don't know. Like I moved away from the Gold Coast as
Yeah,
well at the
fair.
same time. So like,
It gave them a good excuse. When I couldn't have talked about it.
it definitely was. It would have been rough. Like
Mm.
I would have been frustrated if it was my wedding.
Yeah.
Like
I assume someone that you're paying, professionals, are going to back up their footage. No, but he wasn't.
I was very
Not
early
charging.
into video then. Okay,
Yes.
that's not how I operate anymore. I
We
got
move on. He's very professional now.
double backups and an offsite
Yeah.
backup now.
Yeah. Cold storage.
Yeah. Get a RAID storage.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Keep all your stuff secure.
Once Tesh and I get married, I'm going to upgrade my computer setup, and RAID storage is going to be a big one
Yeah.
on that list. It's just like a way of storing data. Like it's a big hard drive that sits on your desk.
It's parity
Essentially.
storage. So you can have 16 terabytes of storage. 8 of those terabytes might be, well, this is
How you
one
do yours.
version of
Yeah.
RAID, but 8 of those terabytes will actually be usable space, and then the other 8 terabytes will be a duplicate version of the space. So you always have a backup. So if one of the drives fails,
You can
corrupts,
rebuild it.
breaks, or whatever, because they do that eventually, then you can rebuild the drive from the other drive that already exists.
Yeah. And real quick, while we're on the topic, if you have very old hard drives,
Yeah.
look to back them up or move them onto newer hard drives. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know, 10 years, every 10 years.
Assuming they've been running for 10 years, but even if they've just been sitting
If they're
there,
just sitting there in a-
eventually they will just stop.
Yeah, they will just stop
Never
working
work
and you'll
again.
never be able to recover. So definitely
Pro tip,
update your storage.
back up your stuff.
And the cloud is great, even though it's a bit dodgy at times, it is a good option as well.
Yeah. And the general rule is 2 backups and then an offsite backup. So if for whatever reason your house burns down or, someone breaks in and steals both of your hard drives, you always have another backup that's offsite. That's only for like stuff that's like really important to
Yeah.
you. Like obviously if it's just like, if
Yeah.
it's like, oh,
Photos
if I
from a
lose
night
it,
out.
whatever, it's not the end of the world. You probably don't have to spend the money in backing it up offsite in cloud storage or whatever, but that's the general rule. Double backups. Triple backups. Anyway.
So continuing on with tech, as you said, Techtember, tech season, tech time, whatever you want to call it.
Big time.
This is the time of year where we start seeing the big companies like Apple and Google
Yep.
have their keynotes, their presentations, their events, whatever they call them specifically. I know Apple's is on the 14th or 15th of September.
I thought it was the 16th.
16th?
Yeah.
There you go. I was off a lot. Not really.
If you're not on camera next time, you're getting a mic.
Yeah.
At least.
So their event is the 16th of September, where we'll probably see all that stuff we talked about last episode.
Yeah.
The iPhone 15, they'll probably have a new MacBook of some sort, so
Yeah.
an Apple Watch, all this sorts of stuff. They'll probably talk about the Vision Pro
Yeah.
again, if not.
I think they said that was coming out in January. So they might not talk about it
They may
yet,
not.
but they might.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so they'll have their big event. They host it at their Apple Park.
I think it's got Apple Park.
Yeah. And then Google's is early October,
Yep.
which they'll talk about all of the Pixel stuff and anything else new that they've got coming.
Mm-hmm.
What are you looking forward to? I'm sure it's more the Google stuff than the Apple stuff, but what are you looking forward to?
I'm kind of interested to see. I'm looking forward to the Apple one because I want to see if they do USB-C.
Yeah.
Because that'll be. I mean, we talked about this heaps last episode, so I don't want to get all back into it, but it's actually like a genuine contender for my next phone if they went to USB-C.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that's been like stopping me from buying an iPhone for so long.
It's funny you say that before you jump. Depending on what
You're coming
Google
back.
releases, Google could be my next contender.
There's a lot of other reasons I wouldn't use an iPhone. One being it's very like garden wall.
Customization is very limited.
Yeah, and like once I get into it and I get an iPhone, I feel like it's hard to get out, especially because I've already got a MacBook. And like, not that I think that's a problem, but I just don't know if I want to do that. I want to have a bit more of a broad kind of scope of technology and use different things and experience them both. So pros and cons.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm interested to see if they do USB-C, but I think I'm most interested in the Pixel Watch 2 if they release that.
Oh, yeah?
If they announce that in October from Google, because I just want to see if they've improved. The first gen one was like, it was okay. It looked really nice, but there was like lots of obvious flaws. Like the battery life wasn't great. The bezels on the watch were like huge.
Right.
There's just some things about them like, it's not the greatest smartwatch out there. Like when you compare it to the competition with like the Galaxy Watch 5 and the Galaxy Watch, the one that just came out, it's like awful.
Yeah.
Compared to those
Very
in
much
terms of
first
specs
gen
and stuff. So
Yeah.
hopefully they've improved a few things there.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they leaked the Pixel Watch.
Yeah, well,
what's
They
called Pixel
definitely
Watch 2?
leaked the Pixel 8. The Pixel 8.
But in that
and
photo, there was a
photo of
watch.
But people weren't entirely sure if it was
Yeah, it could have just
the
been
2
like
or like a modified version of the 1 or something.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if they come out with it. But yeah, Google Pixels have been on my radar recently.
What would you like to see from the 8 to consider it as a alternative?
I think I'm very much a fan of not ease of use, but like fluid use. So like Apple, what I found they do very well is their user experience is like very seamless, smooth, transitioning to and from apps and just sliding up and down, scrolling up and down.
Yeah.
They have a very smooth UI interface and animation style and everything that comes with that. In previous Androids that I've had, it was a bit jumpy. It was a bit, it wasn't perfect. And that's not because it was necessarily a terrible product.
Yeah.
It felt like, because I think they're all using Snapdragon or whatever the latest OS is now. It just felt like it was lagging a little bit. Like I'm very like particular. I'm like, if I'm lagging while I'm scrolling on my phone, like if I can just tell, it's like it just puts me off it a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's like the most finicky thing, the like most pedantic thing. It's like first world problems, of course, but
Yeah.
it's just like I'm not expecting it to be simple to use. I just want it to be smooth and easily, accessible and customizable in that way.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Marquez, MKBHD, just released a good video of iPhone versus Android.
I did see it. Yeah.
And like in that, he talks about these are the objective kind of like rules as to which one's better. Objective? Subjective.
Yeah, he said, I think he was saying here's like 7 categories that
Yeah.
are pretty much like what people would be looking for, but he
They
did
said
say,
based on order of importance of what's important.
you
to
would stack it based on you, but
Yeah.
also if you have another category, feel free to chuck it in there and base it on a
Yeah.
1 to 5 scale.
Yeah. And for me, like customization and excitement, which I think was one of his categories, which is like I like to experience things that are like not just the same thing over and over again. And with Android, I can do that because I can sideload apps. I can, I can customize it basically however I want. I can route it if I wanted to pretty
the
easily.
layouts and
Change it as much as I want. Whereas with iPhone, you're pretty much, yes, it'll work perfectly, but you're locked into what Apple wants you to do with it.
Yeah.
And anything outside of that's like kind of not really worth trying.
Which is fine for
yeah,
majority of people that just want to use a phone for a phone and the basic stuff. So
yeah,
that's why they're so popular.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely looking forward to Google. Might change. We'll see what my fiance thinks. It'll be probably a next year thing anyway.
Yeah, sure.
Because I'm paying off my phone plan still anyway. So once that's paid, then I can look elsewhere because I'm not tied to it.
I definitely think we're narrowing the gap.
Yeah, that's right. You got that. It just sounds funny in your head.
I definitely think we're narrowing the gap between what it used to be like to own an iPhone versus what it used to be like to own an Android and the disparity between them. So, like, for example, iMessage is obviously a big thing. AirDrop is another big thing. But to be fair, there's a thing now I have on my Mac and my phone called NearDrop. Yeah. And it's essentially I can send stuff from my phone to my Mac
just via
with AirDrop.
Bluetooth.
Which is called AirDrop.
Yeah.
It's called NearDrop. It doesn't work the other way, so I can't send stuff from my Mac to my phone. But it's essentially like AirDrop is just basically Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Technology. It's just like proprietary software with Apple. But NearDrop, there's like the guy who made it designed a piece of software for the MacBook and for Windows machines, so you can send stuff from iPhones to Windows computers. You can send stuff from Macs to Android phones.
Yeah, right.
From Android phones to Macs. It uses, because there's a thing that Google has or Android has. If you had an Android phone, there's a thing called Nearby Share, and it's essentially the same thing as AirDrop. So you can go between any Android phone backwards and forwards with files like that, but you can't do it with Apple. So it's just like, it's all using the same technology, but I think we're getting closer to like, I don't really miss having iMessage personally.
Well, you're missing out a lot.
Because realistically, I do find I don't, like, yes, I do text on iMessage, but most of the time I'm on Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, I feel
like that's like my
Messenger,
primary.
Telegram, WhatsApp. I feel like I use everything else, but I don't use text very much. And when I do use text, I just text.
Even with my fiance and I, we primarily use Messenger.
Don't even use iMessage.
Yeah, like we do.
You could get an Android, you wouldn't even notice.
You're in the Facebook
that
Messenger.
is something that does annoy me. Is group chats are a huge pain in the butt when it comes to like people with iPhones.
Yeah,
even Android phones to Android phones, the group chats aren't good. Like there's like weird settings that sometimes, like I'll get a group chat message from my family and it will come through as like all the different names with one message. I'll reply to it. It will reply individually to all of the different people. So then it will just come through like based on wherever that conversation it was happening last. And then they'll text me, but it doesn't send it like that on my phone. So it sends it back into the group, but it sends it individually for them. Yeah. And then they'll reply back and say, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'm replying to the group. And they're like, this is not the group. This is my message. Like,
yeah, I do recall that when I either had a Samsung or a Pixel and it was doing something similar. And I was just like, why is it, like, I'm confused. I'm not seeing on your side, on the user side, but.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is what it is. But I agree. I feel like I don't use SMS that much anyway. The other thing I wanted to talk about was there's another thing that's been leaked. I feel like everything gets leaked.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's intentional.
I think Google's intentionally doing stuff, to be honest. And then Apple, I have no idea.
I don't think Apple stuff gets leaked very often.
No, they try not to because there's like NDAs and
they're
like people don't know about certain parts of the projects.
But there's one other thing that got leaked. It's coming out in India in, I think, September or October, but it's called CMF.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I did hear
hear about this. Which is like the transparent company that makes like the Nothing Phone 2 and the Nothing Ear 2s and that's it.
That's all they make at the moment.
Nothing Ear Sticks, I think. But they make the, like, you would have seen it. It's like the glass-backed phone with like the lights on it.
It looks almost like an iPhone, but it's an Android phone.
It's an Android phone, yeah. And they have a very distinct art style or like design aesthetic is this transparent technology and like kind of a monochrome, black and white. Everything's simple. Everything's meant to kind of not be distracting. So your phone is a tool more than like getting lost in it with all the stuff in your face.
Yeah.
They've seemingly released another brand called CMF, which CMF in the manufacturing process stands for color, material, finish.
Yeah.
So like when you're asking someone about, hey, what's the CMF of that product? It's like, what's the color? What's the material? What's the finish?
Yeah.
But it's really different to nothing stuff. It's like all orange. They're releasing apparently like a charger, earbuds, and a watch. Which is nothing doesn't have any of those things. Well, they have earbuds, but they don't have a charger. They don't have a watch. So it's weird. I don't know why, but I'm excited to see what it is because it's meant to be cheap, like meant to be budget friendly.
I don't know if you listened to the Waveform podcast, but I think they spoke about it as well.
Okay.
And they talked about, it very much seemed like they were, the CMF is them trying to be the cheaper option of the Nothing phones.
Sure.
Because the Nothing phones cost quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
Because they have to design it in a way that it looks good when it's transparent and it's got glass and all of that. So this is their cheaper option, not to step on the Nothing brand's sort of ecosystem.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what it is, if it is genuinely cheaper or if it's, still a exy price for a not so great product.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's going to be like, if it's going to compete with like the Galaxy watches of the area, or if it's more like in line of like the best cheap smartwatch you could get if you just search smartwatch on Amazon or eBay or whatever and just bought like a Chinese kind of, like
just throwaway
thing.
product,
If it's like the best version of that, if that's what they're aiming for, or if they're aiming for like the best low budget good thing, or but yeah, I'm interested to see what that is. Because I think the thought that they put into the Nothing products is pretty good. Like I think if I didn't have a Pixel, I would buy a Nothing phone too.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm looking forward to it because it is just another sort of tech company that's producing interesting products or has an interesting proposition. So we'll see where it goes.
Indeed. Patch notes.
We're into patch notes. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you can go first. Yeah.
So this week, I actually think I found him a little while ago, but I did re-find him again this week. I realized we're both mutual followers of him or them. I have no idea about this person, and I'm going to probably pronounce the profile wrong. But on Instagram, it's canapat.t.
Yeah.
This artist is a 3D artist, and they do some incredible work with like analog systems, bringing them to a digital space. And I guess it's almost like that NASA punk, that cyberpunk.
Yeah, it does have that aesthetic, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very sci-fi look and then a very grungy sort of aesthetic to it. So definitely check it out if you want to see some cool 3D stuff. We'll link it in the descriptions. But that's Canapat, KANAPAT.T on Instagram. But yeah, big fan.
Yeah, it doesn't. He's only got 14 posts, but he's got 13,000 followers.
Yeah, it's very cool
like
art style and
quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Mine is also an Instagram creator of sorts. His name's JBV Creative on Instagram, and he's like he's from Toronto, but he's like a artist / engineer.
Yeah.
So he makes he basically uses like lots of 3D printing and mechanical kind of engineering stuff to make art pieces. So one of the ones I first saw he made like a basketball, like an endless basketball shooter. So like it's like on one side it's like a thing that flings it into a hoop, and then it rolls down this thing and gets the ball back up and flings it back into the hoop, and it just like continues forever.
Yeah.
And he kind of like documents the process of making them and the mechanics that he uses, like the different systems of mechanics that he uses to make those levers and those engineering pieces. And he's cool. So
yeah, that's cool.
I've just been enjoying his stuff recently and like going back and looking through all of his other projects. I first found him when he did the basketball thing, but then since he's done like a conveyor belt art piece and like a few other things that are kind of cool. I think he got really popular based off like this wave. It was like 3D printed curves, and then he offset them all on a motor, and they made like a wave.
Oh wow!
Because they were all moving like slightly like millisecond after each other.
I don't think I've seen it, so I'll have to check it out.
So yeah, pretty cool. Hey, thanks for listening. This podcast has been recorded at Piedmont Studios. Our creatively random theme music was beautifully crafted by Scott Baker. And if you want to get in touch, you can follow us on Instagram at creatively random. So that's creatively spelt normally and then RNDM with no vowels. Or you can go to creativelyrandom.com spelt normally to send us a message and be a part of the show. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
See ya.